There we go. And good Wednesday morning, 3 minutes past 10 o'clock. We're already up to 52 degrees. Looks like we should have some more scattered showers throughout the day today, or at least a chance for that, about a 40% chance. We'll tell you more about weather coming up here in just a little bit. Meanwhile, right now, it's time for KRIM's Community Spotlight on 96.3 FM, and also coming to you live on Facebook Live, streaming you there. And today we have a couple of folks from the High Country Garden Club with us. We have Lynn DeVoe and also Rich Johnson with us. And first of all, thanks to both of you for coming down here. Kind of excited to let people know about what's going on. Now, Lynn, one of the things that you mentioned before going on the air today is that the High Country Garden Club has been putting on this once-a-year event, which is coming up this weekend.
Yes.
And they've been doing it for a long time, but this last year, because of COVID-19, you weren't able to do it.
That's correct. It wasn't safe.
Yeah, and so you were a little concerned that maybe things wouldn't be working out super well for you this year, but it sounds like actually you mentioned that this could be your biggest and best show yet.
We're hoping so. Yes, we of course we're preparing for last year's plant sale when we had to make the gut-wrenching decision to not do it,
Mm-hmm.
and so we had a lot of inventory already underway for last year. So putting that together with what was put together again for this year is producing well over 1,000 plants of all varieties, many of which have been grown from seeds here in Payson or general area,
Right.
or dug up in people's gardens. They're all locally grown plants.
So you know that they definitely will grow here.
Absolutely will grow here.
Yeah, interesting. And over 1,000.
Yes.
And these are all going to be for sale this weekend?
Yes, they are.
Wow, very interesting. And where's this going to be at?
It's going to be at Big Lots parking lot,
Oh.
right in behind the new Mexican restaurant on the corner of Manzanita and 260.
Right.
We start at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we hope to end about noon or so. There's always some stragglers
Right.
holding on, but
So right over there by 260 and Manzanita.
Manzanita, yeah.
Wow, very interesting. And now, when it comes to all the different plants that are going to be offered there, Rich, I mean, is it the sky the limit? I mean, all kinds of different things, or?
Yeah, we've got a ton of different things. We've got anything from annuals to the perennials. We're going to have a few hundred perennials out there, so we're talking all the stuff that you'd be putting in your yard.
Well, that's nice because you can plant it once and then it keeps coming back every year.
yeah.
Right, and a lot of the stuff will be elk-proof, not all of it, but some of it will. Well, one of the real features we're going to have this time is in the iris category. We normally bring several different, over 100 iris, but we would only have like 4 different colors. But this year we have 8 colors, and people are always looking for the different colors since purple and yellow are the common ones around here. Everybody has those, but
Right.
they want other ones. So this year they're going to get a lot of choices.
Do you have any need for white irises?
Yes, we have several of those for sale.
Because
Well,
I got a flower bed that I need to do some thinning on the iris bulbs a little bit, and they're
Okay.
all white. So
Yeah, we take those for next year. We
Cool.
pot them and have them ready.
feel free to come on down and thin it out yourself if you like.
We'll get your address. We'll be down.
There you go. Okay.
Well, believe it or not, that's actually what we do a lot of, is we
Really?
go to people's houses and they have extra stuff and we thin it out and there it is.
Well, one of the things that I've heard that is a real benefit to people that become members of the High Country Garden Club is the fact that there's such a wealth of knowledge of not only gardening in general, but specifically gardening at this elevation. And I mean, there's, for people that have just moved here, I mean, this can offer a few twists and turns that you might not be familiar with. Is that a fair estimation?
Very a good statement. Yes, yes.
And what would you guess? I mean, and just off the top of your head, I mean, what's one of the biggest challenges people have when they first move to Rim Country and they want to get gardening?
Animals eating their food,
Oh, there you go.
their produce, and their plants. So learning what to plant and where,
Mhm.
what is going to be not needing so much water
Mhm.
versus other parts of
Oh,
Arizona.
that's a big one.
And safe from elk
Mhm.
and javelina and bunny rabbits.
Oh, yeah, and there's a bunch of those around this year. And Rich, when it comes to elk, now you mentioned that it sounded like, if I understood correctly, that there are some types of plants that elk actually aren't interested in at all.
Yeah, iris, of course, is probably the biggest one that most people know about with that, but there are a number of others that meet that category.
I mean, are they a deterrent? I mean, will elk leave because that plant is around, or?
I don't think we have anything in that category. That would be
Okay.
really nice to
I was
have.
just, wishful thinking.
Our
Yes.
our financial future would be set if we had that here.
I hear you. But again, just animals tend to be the biggest challenge up here. Not so much the challenge of. I guess one of the things that I've been around Payson for about 40 years, and it always affected me in the spring because we'd had a couple of peach trees. And about once every 3 years or so, we'd actually have a crop of peaches, but it seemed like there was always, a late frost or
Late
something that
frost.
just nailed it, and I was not out there keeping things covered and providing extra warmth and all that kind of good stuff. So it helped me expand my vocabulary in a less than positive way. But it's challenges like that. When it comes to the climate, are there certain things that you see, people complain about when they first come to Rim Country?
Well, I think the number one thing that people complain about, especially from the gardening perspective, is the soil.
Yeah, there's not a lot to this decomposed granite,
We've
right?
got this decomposed granite in a lot of places in Payson, and it's just really tough to deal with if you are unaware of the word compost.
Mhm.
You gotta get real familiar with that word. You gotta add a lot of amendments to the soil. You gotta build it up, make it so that it holds water rather than passing it. And yet in some other places in Payson and Star Valley in particular, which is where I live, clay actually tends to be much more of a problem than the granite.
Really?
We don't have that much clay, that much granite out there. And so once again, you need to get in there and you need to amend the soil so that it's not blocking water, so that it's holding too much water in some
Right.
cases. And it runs right off when it rains and stuff. So once again, compost is one of the big things you need to get familiar with. You work that into your soil and you make it do what you need it to do.
Now, is there, when it comes to, this is obviously a good time of year to be thinking about some of that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
And/or, maybe you should have been thinking about it, for a few weeks now.
Yeah, composting, you should have started a year ago, yeah.
But are there? I know that out at Plant Fair Nursery, they've got their black gold or whatever they call it out there. That they've been doing composting, and you can get some that way. Is that a good route to take, or is there certain types of compost to look for? Or?
Yeah, I make my own compost, but I bought the stuff at Plant Fair Nursery and it works just fine. The stuff is a little bit woodier than what I make, but it doesn't end up hurting anything. You work that into your soil and it helps lighten the soil up a little bit also, so it's good stuff.
Right, now, when it comes to the High Country Garden Club itself, Lynn, one of the things, is for people that aren't familiar with it, again, just to reiterate, I think a great opportunity for people that may have an interest in gardening, but maybe not really well acclimated or well aware of some of the challenges that you run into, some of like we've been talking about here as far as soil and the need for soil amending and that kind of thing. But I would think that by getting involved in this garden club, there's going to be a wealth of knowledge that you're going to be able to tap into.
There is. We have some of our golden, charter members that when we started in 1997, and they share their story and step up to help. It's amazing to me. We also have speakers. We try to have a speaker at every meeting once a month who will inform us one way or another about getting seeds started or learning different varieties of composting. There's a whole wealth of information out there, big, small. It just depends on what your garden requires.
Right.
Types of plants, tree grafting, or firewising your yard kind of thing. It's a great resource for the community. It truly is.
And those are firewising, your yard, that's super important. And obviously to, get some perspective on that from people that really know plants, that just makes a lot of sense. And I would imagine that also being able to tap into that wealth of knowledge also is beneficial if you're just looking at planting stuff for the first time, so that you don't end up having to, that got a little too big and now that's a fire hazard next year. Getting some of that perspective up front can really help you in the long run.
It does, and it kind of depends. We have such a wide variety of gardeners. Some of them have inherited mom and dad's home that's gone to weed or nothing, and so learning where to plant, what needs sun, how much sun. We have pending, we've been trying to do it for a year now, a young lady who's a well-recognized landscape design here in Payson.
Oh, wow.
And her property over of Mud Springs Road is 6 acres, horse ranch, but it is stunning with the roses, and she will be on our agenda this fall to talk about how to plan for front of your bed, back of your beds. She's much more into decorative landscaping rather than vegetables and
Right.
produce kind of thing. And we have every variety of gardener. We have members from Pine, and which is a different environment compared to Payson
Sure.
versus Geisela and where you live in Tidal Basin.
Right.
So yeah, we and it just amazes me how someone will say, well, I can come by your house and see what's going on and see how we can help you. And I have some iris in my garden that I'd be happy to let you have some, plant those and
Wow.
get things started for you. And
And what a cool way to be able to get the knowledge that perhaps you lack, plus assistance from people that are just willing to help each other out. I think that's a beautiful thing.
well, and just the demonstration, and this is how you do it.
Right.
That's hands-on is the best thing.
And a lot of us are much more visual type learners than reading a book and trying to interpret all of that. So I think that makes perfect sense. Now this event that you have coming up this weekend, this is Saturday, right?
Yes.
And it's going to be out in front of Big Lots in that parking lot there, again, right rather near the intersection of Highway 260 and Manzanita. And this gets underway at what time on Saturday?
7:00 in the morning
And how late you going?
till noon.
Right.
That's the plan.
And you have
Anyway.
over 1,000 plants.
Yes.
And now you're selling these, but from what I've heard, the prices are a lot more than reasonable.
They are. They're very reasonable, but I think the biggest advantage is the fact that they're grown local. They're local plants. You know what's going to grow here,
Right.
kind of thing. We've added to our raffle. We've sort of introduced that a couple of years ago, and this year we've got some incredible things that have been donated for raffle. And one of them is a composter. Amazing conversation, yeah.
Is it like a big drum type of thing?
It is,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. And it looked to me, but I haven't seen it in person, but from pictures that I've seen, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how does that have a motor? How do you
Right.
Apparently not. Once you get her going, it's a good thing because you have to turn your compost all
Right,
the time
yeah,
on a
keep
regular
moving, yeah.
basis. We also have a fountain, a garden fountain that has been donated for
Nice.
a raffle. And we have a beautiful little antique sleigh that has been used as a planter and is filled with plants for it. We have a chair that we're calling it the herb chair. It's a little novelty, but it's a chair that's been made into a planter,
Nice.
and it's filled with herbs. We have a potting bench, so all garden related, all local, and I think this is going to be the biggest and best we've ever done.
That's exciting. Partially because there's a great chance to get some screaming deals on plants that, as you mentioned, have been proven to actually grow here. So if you can't grow these, then well, you need to become a member of the High Country Garden Club, and they'll
Yes,
teach you
you
how.
should anyway.
That's right. But one of the other big benefits, from this whole thing, sounds like, Rich, is that you folks with the High Country Garden Club do a lot of other things throughout the year, and this is one of the ways you help to fund that.
Yeah, we're a community-related organization for sure.
And a 501c3 nonprofit organization.
Yes, a nonprofit, and pretty much almost all the money that we take in, and this is our one big fundraiser for the year, almost all the money that we take in ends up going back out to the community in one way or another. For example, we put in, donated a park or garden type bench in front of the Humane Society. That was one thing we put in down there. We did the same thing in front of the Chamber of Commerce. Yes, sorry. And each one of those items was $500 or $600. And
Right.
it's not a small item. But our single biggest thing that we do is once a year we give two high school seniors who are going on to college. We give them a $1,000 scholarship to help them along in their education.
Wow.
So it's a continuing education kind of thing. That's kind of our mode where we like to educate people. That is our mission, if you will. And it really helps out very nicely for a lot of people. The other thing that we've done that people see every day is if you drive by some of the roundabout that's there at Manzanita and Malibu, I believe it is.
Right.
We planted all the iris that are on that island, and then down a little bit further down Malibu toward the police station there. There are a couple little median strips
Right.
that are, I think they're in bloom right now, or they were just a week ago.
They're getting past, but
And-
yeah.
Very cool.
And we did all those plantings, so we try to give back.
Very nice. And yeah, again, what a great group to get involved with. About how many members do you have currently?
About 90.
And you only have room for about 1,000 more?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, come on down.
Now, and we're going to let you know if you'd like to get involved. You have these meetings monthly, right?
Yes, we do, the first Thursday of every month.
And where do you meet at?
We have been meeting at the Mount Cross Lutheran Church on
over
260.
601 East Highway
Yeah,
260.
we talk about our little old log cabin. That's their meeting
Right.
building, separate from the rest of the church area. We have not been able to meet there over the last year because of the pandemic, but we're slowly working our way into, and we'll have a meeting May 6th at the church outside in the picnic area in front of the log cabin.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
I like the, actually, little known fact, I directed choirs there about 35 years ago.
It's an amazing.
And it's a great little facility,
It is.
especially since they put in the new sanctuary. But I just like the log cabin and everything. It's got a nice feel to it. It's a good place to be.
It is, and it's convenient for everybody to
Mhm.
find and hang out. And some of the other things that we do, we take names off of the angel tree at Edward Jones
Right.
Financial Advisory and along Beeline Highway
Mhm.
every year, and give to 10 or 15 seniors and children's names that we've chosen to make their Christmas a little brighter and nicer.
Oh, how
We
nice.
also offer some funding for kids at high school or middle school who find themselves in some kind of emergency situation where
Mhm.
there's no food on the table tonight, or they don't have a
Ouch.
pair of shoes,
Right.
something like that. So we are giving back to the community in a multiple number of ways.
So, the bottom line is you need to get involved with the High Country Garden Club. Whether you go out this Saturday, again, out in front of Big Lots in the parking lot there, they're going to have their big once-a-year plant sale with over 1,000 plants available at really reasonable prices. And these are plants that have been grown right here in Rim Country, so you know that they'll grow in your yard too. And you can tap into a wealth of knowledge from club members that you've got some people that have been gardening since just after Noah docked the
About
boat,
50
right?
years, yeah.
Starting to get the hang of it?
Yeah, slowly.
Slowly, yeah. But I mean, it's just a wealth of knowledge that you can tap into, which is, I think, probably one of the biggest deterrents for a lot of people that, man, I'd like to be growing something, but I just don't really know exactly what I should do or how to do it.
They're intimidated.
Yeah, and it can seem kind of intimidating, but you can make it all seem rather simple.
You start small and work your way up.
There you go. So we hope you get on out there again on Saturday, and then consider maybe becoming a member. Again, they get together once a month over at Mount Cross Lutheran Church, and that was the first
Thursday of every month,
Thursday of every month. At what time?
6:30.
6:30 in the evening.
Usually.
Okay. All right, and the meetings are open to gardeners of all ages and expertise. So it's not just one of these hoity-toity. You have to really be up on all of the latest science. There's people there that of all different levels of expertise, but it's a great opportunity for you to be able to tap into a wealth of knowledge there, as well as I just think it's cool what you were saying about people just saying, hey, I'll come over and help you put those in, and it's just that's a neat kind of group to be involved with. I mean,
We're a great resource for each other, whether
Yeah.
it's knowledge or materials or resourcing something specific that you need for your garden, or you're inspired by things that
Sure.
you see.
All right. So then, how many years have you been involved with the High Country Garden Club?
I've been involved, this is my 5th year, it's my 4th year as president.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did you do wrong?
I was the new kid sucker.
Yeah, oh man, it happens all the time. I didn't realize that High Country Garden Club has been around since '97, though. I mean, that's quite a track record.
And it's amazing how it's evolved.
Right.
It really is, yeah.
Well, and I think it's also equally amazing what all you're doing as far as pouring yourselves back into the community with helping with these scholarships, helping with kids that are maybe having a little bit of a crisis at home. I mean, you're doing a lot of neat things rather quietly.
We're trying to be louder about it.
Yeah. There you go. We'll see if we can't help you with that. But again, you owe it to yourself to get on out there and check it out. If you want to become a member, and we know you do, the dues are just $20 a year for an individual, or an entire family for just $25 a year. They have a monthly club newsletter that is chock full of photos, member news, gardening tips and resources, event dates, even some recipes.
Yes,
Ooh,
yes.
now you're talking.
Even a little quiz that challenges you from month to month. It's a beautiful production.
Now, I'm curious. Now, first of all, Rich, how long have you been involved with the club?
I've only been here 3.5 years.
Yeah.
So I'm a newbie.
All right. So now, with all of the networking that you've done with other members, what's the maybe the most unique or the most difficult thing that you've seen someone actually be able to accomplish when it comes to gardening here in River Country? What comes to mind when I ask you that?
Difficulty, huh? Well, again, just the challenge of the soil, just overcoming some of those difficulties is a big thing for people and a deterrent. And people hear there's this thinking that you can't garden here because of the soil. Well, you can. You can do it. You just have to learn a few tricks and get into it and do it.
Right.
I learned that lesson because I moved here from Massachusetts.
This is a little different than Massachusetts.
Yes, I'm a cottage gardener farmer, and when we bought our house, we had, like 5 pine trees and 2 rosemary bushes in the front. It now is a cottage garden.
Right.
So it can be done, and
I know that like my family is all from Iowa, and they were all actual farmers in Iowa.
Yeah.
And for my parents to have moved out here to Arizona, of course they moved out here to have the perfect child, but that's a whole
And they
other
did,
that's a whole other talk show. Yeah. I mean, what a knee-jerk sort of thing for them to have come from the rich dark soil of Iowa out to Arizona, where, well, it ain't so rich and dark, I guess is the best way to
but
say
I
it.
bet they made things grow.
Oh yeah, and always had flowers and stuff. My mom was the consummate gardener, and I guess I kind of got bit by that bug somewhere along the way myself.
One thing that's nice about interaction with our membership is even the old pros. It's so nice when they came up and say, my tomatoes were awful this year. I don't know, and then we have a big discussion about, well, did you do this? Did you do that? It's nice to know that even the experts have a bad year.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking before the show today that I've been involved with aquaponics, a combination of growing plants and fish in a kind of a symbiotic relationship, and have dealt with some pretty interesting folks at the government level on a few humanitarian aid projects, and even with them, some of these guys that have PhDs and are really. Well, what is PhD? Piled higher and deeper. Anyway, but they would have the same kind of thing where, man, this year, what has been working great for the last few years just did not work this year. And I think one of the other things, I'm guessing here, but one of the other things that routinely would come up as a challenge is sometimes there's different pests that come along, insects that might be especially bad this year that we haven't seen for X number of years, and by being a member of the club, you're going to run into people that can say, oh yeah, we've had this before and you need to use X, Y, Z to take care of that.
Or even if it's not a rare and overwhelming thing.
Right.
Just, I've got this problem. Well, did you try this? Sometimes it's just an old-fashioned, diluted vinegar and water fixes the problem.
Right.
You never know.
Amazing how many weeds you can kill with just vinegar. What is it? Vinegar, dish soap, and
Some soap,
and
Dawn dish.
Yeah. We do that down in Tano Basin, and because we've got stickers that have stickers, and to be able to, it's amazing.
Just slide right on.
You're not putting nasty chemicals out there, but it
Yeah.
definitely seems to I don't know that it
That's a
necessarily kills the
challenge
roots, but
to resource things that are safe for the environment.
right.
We do encourage, friendly,
Organic gardening.
Yeah. friendly gardening.
So we're just about out of time. I would assume that the best thing, if people are interested in finding out more about the High Country Garden Club, the best thing to do is just come out this Saturday to the event that you have going on out in front of Big
Absolutely.
Lots.
We would look forward to greeting everybody.
And all kinds of different plants.
Come early, that
Yeah.
would be my
There you
recommendation.
go.
Yes.
You also mentioned you had that one item that had a bunch of herbs planted in it. Will there be other types of herbs available?
Yes,
that
we
you're saying?
have a plethora of herbs,
I like good
Yes.
cooking herbs.
and peppers, and tomatoes, and,
Very good. All right, so get on out there again. Gets underway at what time on Saturday?
7 a.m.
7 a.m. until noon. So plan on getting over there in front of Big Lots again at Highway 260 in Manzanita over in that area. You'll see a bunch of people out there in the parking lot. Going to have lots of tables and I imagine pop-up canopies and stuff like that set
You
up.
won't be able to miss us.
It'll be there. Now, again, hats off to the High Country Garden Club too, because of all the different community service projects between providing scholarships to graduating high school seniors, supporting our high school students in need program, participating in seasonal programs to benefit seniors and children, and even get involved in a biannual highway cleanup project. So,
Yeah.
and a bunch of other good stuff too. So get on out there and find out more, and get to know some of the folks with the High Country Garden Club. They might just be able to let you know why whatever it is you're trying to grow isn't working and what you need to do to fix that. And meanwhile, thanks to both of you for being in with us this morning.
It's a
We appreciate
pleasure
it.
being here. Thank
And
you.
best of luck with your event this weekend. Look forward to finding out more about that. Also going to get you back to more of your favorite music here coming up. We have some tunes coming up from Fleetwood Mac, Los Lobos, 311, and a whole bunch more. But first, a quick look at RIM Country weather.
Now here's the KRIM weather forecast for Payson and surrounding
Well, thank you.
areas.
Did that work okay for you?
Yeah, that worked